The biggest problem isn't losing your family, it's losing yourself. I am Jesse, and in this episode of The Valiant Lifestyle of a Blended Family Dad, I'm going to be talking about what it means to look at look at being in an identity crisis that every stepdad faces. I know I sure did. And when I separated from my wife, I had a real hard time trying to figure out who I was and who I was going to be. And it wasn't easy because everything that I thought I wasn't. And everything that I didn't know that I was, you got it. I was, because I really just didn't know who I was as a man. And if I was going to make it to be able to be a dad to my daughter. The first thing I want to get to is divorce changes identity. It does. And I got some bad news for you. The majority of men out there today in relationships, this is the biggest thing we face. This is the tragedy. This is the trauma. This is the thing that we men face that destroys family. It's not knowing who we are. Because not knowing who we are is something that was not forged with our dads to be initiated. What does that mean? It means somewhere along the way you were denied a rite of passage, like I was sometimes, and where you didn't really get to be challenged to go from boy to man. And I know that I tell this story a little bit where I have a friend and his 13-year-old boy, he felt like he needed some challenges because things were just really easy for him. And he was getting to be mouthy a little once in a while. And what he did was he went, I know what I'm going to do, and I know what he needs. So what he did was at the far end of his property, he set up his tent. He gave him his tent, but he said, you're going to go to the far end of the property and you're going to set up this tent. And what you're going to do with that as well is you're going to make your own fire tonight and you're going to stay overnight. Well, that was up in the back 40 with the coyotes and whatever else. But he made it. And it was through that initiation that humbled his son. And he needed to do things like that. So I'm talking about identity, and I started off talking about divorce changes everything. Yes, it does. Divorce changes who we thought we were. But if we didn't know who we were in the first place, this is even worse now, because the relationship that I was in started to forge who I was. And now, and when I left it, I didn't know who I was outside of that relationship. So my divorce from my ex-wife, along with some of these adventures that I didn't get as a kid, to be initiated, to forge my rite of passage, to figure out who I was, wasn't served to me, wasn't given to me. And I'm nowhere in a place of victimhood with that. I'm just saying that is what it is. The long and the short of it is, I'm really proud of my buddy for sending his son out in that way, because in his relationship, as he grows older and gets married, he will discover that he is even more solid as a man, having known that identity, that part of him that he forged, being alone in that way and becoming stronger and more resilient. Number 2, stop becoming everything to everyone. We have this savior syndrome as men where we want to fix everything. It's not going to make us any more important by trying to fix everything, by trying to be everything for everyone. In fact, it looks worse, because here's what I used to do. Not knowing who I was meant that I was leaking energy everywhere. Can I fix this for you? Can I do that for you? Can I give you these vitamins? Can I sell this to you? And oh my gosh, like, it becomes a point where it just becomes draining to me. And what I figured out from that was the people-pleasing part of that was one where I thought that this was a way to serve people, and that this is how I would get to know people and they would get to know me. And it's a false flag. Because what happens is savior syndrome runs so deep, and it ran deep with me, that when I really started to look deeper on it, I felt that this was the way that I got love from people. And in a way that this was a way to serve people. This was a way that they start to love you. And that's not it. I couldn't love myself. And that's how I began to realize, okay, this isn't working, because I'm displacing myself and my skills and my experiences and my know-how everywhere. Stop becoming everything for everyone. It doesn't work, man. It doesn't. Know who you are first. This is who you start to become. Now I'm saying, once I realized that this is what I was doing, and I needed to get to know myself, everything started to change. And with that, it meant spending more time with myself, getting out on a lake in a kayak and freaking myself out a bit. But it was me pushing myself out of my own element to forge this version of me that I am now. And I'm so proud of that, because I was alone, and it freaked me out. And that fear of being alone and not having anyone around was one where I went, I've never really been alone in this way. Kayaking, like you saw those boaters go by, I hadn't even done that before. I hadn't done that in a way where I had really just been okay with it. And go, you know what? I'm okay doing something that I'm really happy doing, and figuring out who I am doing it. That's self-discovery. That's self-love. So, what I want to say here is, strong men build strong families, but we got to know who we are first. And if this really hit home for you, I want to invite you to join the Blended Family Dad movement, because I'm creating something huge. And I want you to be a part of it if this resonates with you. I'm going to be putting a link. There's a link to book your free call here now in the description below. So look for that, book your call. Let's go. Let's find out what you're made of, and let's get this figured out, because not every identity crisis for a stepdad needs to go on forever. Like, subscribe, share. Let's do this.